Hello, everyone, and welcome to METOS 2010. My name is Jason Panucci, and I'm the Soundtree Eastern Accounts Manager. The title of this session is Private and Professional Learning Networks for Music Educators and Professional Development. And we are very lucky to have Dr. Joseph Pisano. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Soundtree. For those of you who are not familiar with Soundtree, we specialize in turnkey learning systems for music educators. We're your one-stop resource for purchasing technology for your music classroom, whether it's one piece of software, a microphone, or state-of-the-art music technology lab or digital recording studio. In addition to the events like today, we provided free webinars, monthly email newsletters, lesson plans, articles, and more. And I urge you to check out our website at soundtree.com. Become a friend on Facebook, and sign up for the email newsletters. We are teacher-focused, and one of our core missions is to help music educators integrate technology into their curricula with lifetime free technical support and free online professional opportunities, just like we're doing here today. 3 things to remember. All of your phone lines are muted. If you have a question, please save it until the end of this presentation and click on the Raise Your Hand icon at the bottom of the participant window. You are registered for this session only during this hour. Unfortunately, we cannot permit you to join another session during this time period. At the conclusion of the session, you will need to quit the Meeting Center tool and click on the appropriate link for the next session in the email you received. Lastly, all sessions are being recorded today, and an archive recording will be available at metosonline.com on October 25th. Another exciting thing that is happening throughout the day is the live blog coverage of our events and our Twitter integration. The link displayed here will feature live commentary from a team of bloggers. If you would like to join the conversation, please make a note of the link. The conversation will be made available on METOS homepage after the event. For those who are on Twitter, here are the hashtags for today's events. Before we get started, we'd like to thank all our corporate sponsors, professional affiliates, and presenters who made today's event possible. We hope you take some time today to visit their respective websites. We could not have done this without their support. Without any further ado, please welcome Dr. Joseph Pisano.
Okay, Joe, I've given presentation controls over, so you're in charge.
Excellent, very much. Jim, real quick, can you hear me okay?
Yep, just fine.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And let's see. Okay, are you seeing my slide presentation? Let me check that real quick. Are you seeing my slide presentation, Jim?
No, we're not, Joe. You have to go back in the meeting center.
Okay, I'm going to just do it real quick here. All right, let's try one more time. Share desktop. All right, got it right now. Got it.
There you go.
Excellent. Now you're seeing a slide presentation. Okay, great. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about private professional learning networks for music educators and online professional development. I think this is particularly pertinent as what METOS is doing is basically what I'm talking about today. How can we use private and professional learning networks to increase professional development through online avenues? One of the really, really awesome things that's been happening over time online is the advent of music educators using Twitter in particular. We'll talk about Twitter just a little bit later. Twitter, a lot of folks think is just a lot of noise, but when you begin to funnel Twitter and you begin to use Twitter in an organized fashion, all of a sudden a tremendous amount of information and collaboration can take place. And recently we've also seen a lot of increase in the use of music educators using private and professional learning networks or personal learning networks for online development. And I can tell you, from experience here with the musicpln.org, just over the last 2 months, we've started over 3,500 conversations right now that are happening among music educators. Wow, how about this screen? Let me get rid of that. Among music educators all over. So I'm going to just start off here with answering a few starting out with some background information on here. First of all, what is a PLN? Well, PLNs are definitely not new. They've been around, especially when you talk about personal learning networks. A personal learning network early on could have been yourself, your parents, your friends, the people that you learn from. But in today's language, what we're talking about when we talk about PLN usually is some type of online learning network. It could either be a personal, a private, or a professional learning network. Typically, a personal learning network is made up of many people, but it's really centered around you. It's managed by you. This is your network of people that you use, or your network of people that you talk to, you collaborate with, and it even can include online sites, online organizations, those type of things. A professional learning network is made up of many people. It's focused on a particular subject or subject matter and managed by a group of people or all the people that are part of it. So in a sense, if you actually think, I need to get rid of this here, keep current color schemes. Let me just do this. Sorry, guys. Windows, what can I tell you? If I was on a Mac, this would all be better. Okay. So just to go across some other terms that you may be coming up with that are related, let me switch here. GLNs, they're global learning networks. Basically, they're professional learning networks. PLEs, personal learning environments. This is kind of interesting. I want to show you an example of a personal learning environment that Yoon Soo, who's one of our members on Twitter and themusictln.org. This is an example of a Symbaloo gallery. You can go to symbaloo.com and you can create these yourself. This is something that she has started and she has her own students work with. And they basically bring in applications that are online or information that's online into one place where they can basically put in things that they'd like to use and they can click on a button and go to them. So it's kind of an aggregator of sorts, but this happens to deal with applications. And you can see on here there's some really fantastic music applications on here, such as Audacity, the NPR music sites, Musicpedia, the Incredibox. If you want to see something really cool, check that out. Okay. I'm going to move this off real quick. And that's an example of a personal learning environment, something that the students can create or you can create with a teacher as they guide you through that. PLCs are personal and professional learning communities. SM, we talk about this quite a bit now, SM and SN, social media and social networks. And then PTE, personal and professional teaching environments. It's a lot of new acronyms to learn, but they all really focus around a collaborative, a sharing, and a very discussion-oriented environment. I'm going to just I don't have my screen up, but if anyone has a question right now, I'll just take a question about the terminology.
Joe, you'd have to go into the meeting center to see if anyone had questions.
Gotcha. I'm back. Okay, questions. I see, well, Jason Panucci has his hand up here. Anyone else? Let's see. Does Jason have a question? Let's see. Now I can click on him and unmute.
He doesn't have one.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, so we're going to go back. We're going to go back to sharing screens. And I'm going to bring up the PowerPoint. Okay, moving along. Okay, social learning networks. Again, not a new thing. So why are we talking about social networks right now? In particular, why music education, and why are we having this at the METOS? Why is this a seminar here? It's because PLNs have really taken on it's the new face of how we're discussing online. It's brought about an incredible amount of possibilities through the combination of the internet, broadband, syndication, and the concept of Web 2.0. So what is the function of a PLN? The function is basically to extend learning or to extend education, either among a single person or multiple people or a group-type mind environment. It's bidirectional with regard to nonlinear education process. The teacher and the student become intertwined. Thus we have the term collaborative and collaborative environment. In a web-based PLN, the overall process will include connecting, sharing, collaborating, teaching and learning. this is really the coolest thing about some of the online things that are happening in a music professional learning network or a personal learning network. We're finding now, and kind of, some folks might think, okay, well, we already had forums out there, and forums have been around a long time. Forums actually were probably the first 2.0 element of, I don't know why this keeps coming up. I'm going to change this real quick. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully we're still on here. So web forums were actually the first type of Web 2.0 type of discussion we had. Typically, though, when we had a forum, you had to go to a site, and that site itself, you would have to check in, you would have to monitor it, you would have to, in many cases, subscribe to it to get to the information. With a lot of the learning environments we're having now, you can share the information among multiple social networks. You can get the information in and out using multiple social networks like Twitter, like Facebook, and you can combine all of these things into a super network, as it were, where we can start to share on a global basis. And in many cases, the personal networks that are out there, the PLNs that are out there, are free to use. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of a music PLN that we started up as a larger community that actually first was blog-based and then Twitter-based, and now we are using the musicpln.org as an example of what can be done with a professional learning network. In this, we have activity streams. Activity streams are basically what you're all familiar with Facebook. Facebook, where somebody updates their information, and then that goes out and people can read it, they can subscribe to it, they can look at it, they can use it or not. Obviously, we have groups. Within the groups, we have forums. One of the cool things with some of the things that we're able to do with the new software is we can integrate other sites into them, like the Goodreads site, which is a really fantastic site where you can basically review books that pertain to a particular subject and share them with others. Again, integration with other social networks, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Last.fm. Last.fm is a pretty neat site. It's kind of like Pandora. You can integrate with that if you're really into music. Basically, what it allows you to do is allow people to find out what you're listening to currently. They might find that interesting. Flickr. Flickr is an online social network for sharing photos. And with the Music PLN, you find that we have RSS feeds. RSS stands for Really Simple Syndication. You can get email notifications, and you can get printable. But the biggest thing, and this is what I'm going to be talking about as we move forward here with this online professional and personal learning network, is that we now have access to professional development and digital mentorship 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long. And that's really one of the unique things that is becoming available with the advent of personal learning networks. So I'm going to bring over an example of what we're doing with this, with the musicpln.org. I'm going to pull this over right now. Okay, I'm going to go over here to the home screen on this. Now, this website is a little bit similar to Facebook on here, and again, it is a social network very similar to Facebook. I'm really excited to say now that we're up over 900 contributing members right now on here. And if you look at this, this is an example of a professional or community-based personal, or I should say community-based or professional learning network. I have the ability up here to simply type in a status update. So I'm going to say, hey, I'm talking live via METOS. Okay. Now from here, this is one of the beauties of what we're starting to be able to do with some of the advanced technologies. Typically, if you were in a closed environment before, if you would post this, the only people that could see this would be the people that actually visit your site or somehow subscribe to what you're doing on the site. I now have the ability, and so do some other learning networks, to take our simple update and I can post that to multiple networks at the same time. So simply by clicking on the to Twitter button here and the to Facebook, as soon as I post this update, you'll now see that it updates on the site itself, but it's also sending out the information to Twitter